Jeremy is a 6-year-old boy whose grandmother brings him into clinic today for his annual well child visit. I can see from his chart that Jeremy's overweight, so today I want to talk to him about healthy eating. Jeremy, what foods do you like?
Well, I like pizza and Hot Pockets and macaroni and cheese.
This is par for the course, so I narrow my question a little bit. Jeremy, what fruits and vegetables do you like?
To my surprise, his eyes light up. I like apples and pears and broccoli.
He goes on like this for about a minute, listing just about everything you'd find in the produce section of a grocery store.
This is great.
All the while, though, his grandmother is sitting in a chair in the corner, and she seems to be getting smaller and smaller. All of a sudden, she interrupts.
Doctor, I can't afford those foods.
In that moment, a portal opens up in space, and I can see into the future. This is Jeremy's future. It's a future full of inadequate nutrition and unrealized potential, of low-cost, high-calorie foods and preventable chronic disease. In short, it is a future full of food insecurity. In this future, Jeremy's hunger is misdiagnosed as a behavioral disorder, and he's prescribed medication. In high school, Jeremy drops out to take a job and help his family's finances. By the age of 30, morbidly obese, Jeremy is diagnosed with diabetes and hypertension. In his 50s, Jeremy has his first heart attack, and in his 60s, Jeremy dies. 15 years younger than more affluent members of his demographic. So you can see why I, as a doctor, care about food insecurity. But why should you? I mean, Jeremy's story is tragic, but it's a role for the social service organizations, right? This is a health innovation talk. I want to challenge you tonight to stop thinking about food insecurity as a social tragedy and start thinking about it as a financial crisis. Every year in the United States, we spend $300 billion on the effects of food insecurity and poor nutrition. That's 10% of our annual healthcare budget. 10%. We need to start treating food insecurity just as we would any other epidemic that threatens our national public health and our economic stability. But how do we afford that? You probably already know that the United States spends about twice as much as any other developed country on healthcare. But that's not the whole story. The United States is also the only country that spends more on healthcare, that is, things like x-rays and prescriptions, hospitalizations, than it does on social services like food and housing assistance and poverty prevention programs. And where is all this supersized spending getting us? Well, you can see on these health outcomes that we're actually well ahead in most categories. We're the blue, everyone else is the orange. So we're doing great, right? We've got obesity, infant mortality rate, and rates of chronic disease. In fact, the only place we don't do better, life expectancy. We're spending money in the wrong places, and our outcomes are showing it. We need to stop thinking about health as the absence of illness and start thinking about it as the elevation of wellness. Well, how do we do that? Well, imagine this. Jeremy comes into the office, and the first thing I do is screen him for food insecurity. If he screens positive, he and his family get to visit with a social worker after the visit to make sure that they're enrolled in food stamps and any other programs for which they may be eligible. Jeremy has the choice between vouchers for a local farmer's market or a grocery store, or he and his family can have a membership to a CSA. He and his family receive an emergency food box from our food pharmacy, and they're enrolled in cooking classes in our clinic's teaching kitchen, where they can learn to make healthy, low-cost meals. All of this for less than the cost of a CAT scan. Sounds like a fantasy, right? It's not. Across the state, programs like this are being tested right now, and they're showing incredible results. What we need to do for the next step is to elevate this to the state level and make it the norm. We need innovative leaders in health, economics, and politics to come together and create a viable financial plan. Join me in this. The return on investment is there, but first we need to invest. We need to invest in health, in a new way of thinking, and in Jeremy's future. Thank you.